it's a fairy tale that ends very happily.
This really handsome character called the Baker, tall, beautiful guy, and that's the most the most important part in the show.
It is about fairy tales and shoes and a cow.
An opera, and there's a ghost that lives in the building, and this beautiful woman sings her heart out, and the guy falls in love, and then everybody dies, and a chandelier falls on top of everyone.
Okay, a bunch of people who are actually characters go into the woods and stuff happens. And then they go out of the woods, but then they go back in. And then they get out, but they might have to go back in again.
Trees, magic. Well, I feel like this is kind of good.
It's been raining for years, right? And so there's cows, and there's a couple witches who are like guarding the forest anyway. So it's about an endangered forest that a lot of people are trying to save, which is a very real issue.
People having problems, people sort of solve problems, people die.
Just imagine the Marvel universe, but like put all of like the grim fairy tales in it, right? So like Cinderella has a problem, and and then the witch has a problem, and then the baker, and we don't really know what story he's from. I think and his wife is in it, and then Little Red is there, and like it's the grandma, right? And then there's like a wolf, but they're all together in one big world. Like there's a storyteller, he like tells a story, but then he's in it, and it's weird, but it all comes together. But it's Sondheim's music, but it's hard music, but it's easy music, and then they have this big song. And the giant, there's a giantess, and she has really. Okay, we won't talk about that.
The Woods is about like a bunch of fairy tale characters like come together and they're like running through the woods, and then one person like wants a baby, and then like this giant comes and like tramples them all, and a couple of them survive, and then they all decide to live happily ever after together.
Wishes, cows, and beans. Well, I mean, that's actually kind of what it's about. Anyways, that wasn't that bad.
Some people who misplace a bunch of things, everything gets messed up. Also, the Phantom is literally watching us from the window right now. That's so funny.
The people who got sort of mixed up in each other's lives go into the forest to try to work shit out.
Which she sings a really good 11 o'clock number.
It's a fairy tale mashup where every fairy tale character imaginable ends up in the same woods, but that's not very bad. That's sort of a good one.
This couple goes into the woods, and the woman's like, "Oh shit, look at you! You're like kind of manly and dope out here."
Right. And then there's a woman who says that she's like a conjurer. She's really she's really like a really bad psychic, and she comes into the situation and she tries to tell them that it's all about her.
That's exactly right. That's what happens.
That's
period.
Exactly what happens in it. End of story.